What real estate agents wish they knew before becoming real estate agents. There's a lot of things out there, a lot of forums and Reddits and YouTube videos, but in today's video, I'm gonna go over the reasons or the things I wish I personally knew and the things that other agent friends wish they knew before becoming real estate agents, because let's face it, we see, being an agent online and it's this beautiful thing, you make all this money, but there's a reality to it, and there's a reason why 90% of agents fail within 2 years. So let's discuss 9 things every real estate agent should know or wish they knew before becoming agents. First and foremost, you can join a team when becoming an agent. A lot of times, or most of us, want to become a real estate agent because we want flexibility, or we have that entrepreneur spirit and we want to start a business and we want to do our own thing. We want to build our own brand. But something people don't consider is that you can join teams. Now, you're not going to have the flexibility and you're not going to build your own personal brand, but it's a great way to get into the industry and start learning how to sell and do the actual job of a real estate agent. Because when you get your license, you learn laws and regulations and how not to get sued. You don't learn anything about contracts more often than not. You don't learn how to do a buyer presentation or listing presentation. So joining a team is not a bad move for most people because it's going to teach you the job. It's going to give you more structure and it's going to help you build that brand for a couple years until when you're ready to go off and build your own business. So joining a team is absolutely on the table and something you should consider when trying to be a real estate agent. Don't think that if you're joining a team, you're just kind of giving up on your dream to be part of somebody else's brand. You can always build your brand later. If you're going to do this for the long haul for 5, 10, 20 years, starting off on a team to get your feet wet, to get that structure and actually learn the business for a couple years is a good idea and something you should consider. The second thing is that it's not a TV show. It's not a YouTube channel where people have been doing this for 10 years and they just show you the glamorous parts of the business. It's real life. It's entrepreneurship. It's business building. It's no longer a 9 to 5. A lot of times people get into this business thinking that as soon as they get their license, all their friends and family are going to call them, their phones are going to be blowing up and they're going to have all this business. So they come in thinking all I got to do is clock in at 9, I can be done by 5, I don't have to work that hard. But it's the exact opposite of that. You will need to do everything, and you have to come to terms that more often than not, nobody's going to use you for the first 6 to 12 months of your business. I know for me, when I first got my license, before that I did landscaping, I was a photographer, I worked in a corporate job as a financial analyst, I did so many different things. So I can't fault my friends and my family, especially now since I'm a homeowner and I bought houses. It's a big purchase and you don't want to use somebody that you don't trust, that you don't view as a professional. So I don't fault my friends for using me, but it took about a year and a half for people to actually start reaching out to me. The first year and a half was just me lead generating. So expect to go into it to be a entrepreneurship, a business venture that you are going to have to build. Now, with it being a entrepreneurship type venture is that you are going to wear all the hats. All the success is going to be on you, so great job. And all the pitfalls, all the losses, all the downfalls of the business is also going to be on your shoulders. That causes a lot of stress. It causes a lot of anxiety. There's a lot that goes onto your shoulders as a business owner, and that's something that people didn't expect. People expect to get their license. It's a breeze. You go through contracts. Yes, there's stress here and there, but they don't understand that you're going to be building a business from the floor, and it takes a long time. It takes a lot of emotional stress and something that you have to be ready for. The third thing is that people think that they want to be an agent because it's flexible, and it's absolutely not flexible, at least for the first year or two as you're building your business. Eventually, you can get to the point that yes, you can hire an admin, or even you can get a buyer's agent to help you or a showing agent to help you show and get you a little bit more time back. But when you're struggling, when you're building and you have bills that need to be paid, they're maybe 2 to 3 months late, you're not going to pay somebody else to do something. You're going to go do it. So this flexibility that you want is not going to be there for at least a couple years. The first year is you're going to be working like crazy. Again, it's no longer 9 to 5. It's a 24/7 type of job. So you are going to be lead generating during the day. You're going to be meeting clients. You're going to be prospecting during the day. And then in the afternoons and on the weekends, you're going to be showing houses, or you're going to be doing open houses, or you're going to be doing buyer presentations, seller presentations. You're going to be working as much as you can to try to build this business up off the ground. Now, after a couple years of doing this and working all the time, you can get to a place that you have too many leads or you have too many clients that you can't service properly. And that's when you can offload a lot of these different tasks and things to either an admin that can start doing a lot of the paperwork, or a virtual assistant, or you can bring in on another agent that you can partner, and they can be your team agent. So they can either do buyers or sellers, or maybe a showing agent. Showings are typically something that take up a lot of time. So instead of showing, 3 hours every afternoon or, 10 hours on Sunday, you can hire somebody, either pay them salary or pay them commission. Hey, you're going to be my showing agent. You're going to show all my clients. So now you can start offloading a lot of the duties and the things that you were doing that taking up your time, so that you can get your time back and be a little bit flexible. So is it flexible? Yes, but not at first, not when you're building phase. Now, something I will say about the flexibility is that yes, you are working nights and a lot of the weekends, but if you want to go home or you want to meet your kids at the park for 30 minutes or an hour on a random Tuesday at 1 p.m., you will get that. You can kind of rearrange your schedule. Not every time, but a lot of the times you can fit in little things that are very important to you, whether that's the gym or your family or going on a walk. So it's not flexible as far as like having all this time that you're not doing anything, but it is flexible to where you can fit things in here or there, that you can still see your kids, you can still see your spouse, or go to the gym or do this or do that. But as far as the flexibility that people think about flexibility, that's not going to happen for a couple of years until you've built your business, and then you can start getting your time back. The fourth thing is that it will emotionally wear you out. Now, I get it. You're already stressed at your job and you're thinking, it can't be that bad. My job is stressful. I hate my job. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And yes, it's kind of like that, but a little bit different, because your job, you probably have a job that maybe you like or don't like, but there's just stresses about it. But you get paid every 2 weeks, right? There's no time that you went into work and then all of a sudden your boss calls you and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't pay you for the last month. You're just going to have to deal with it. I'll pay you here in 30 days. And you're like, how am I supposed to run my life? I have to pay my bills. There's no money coming in. So with real estate, again, you're commission based. You can work your butt off. You can work 100-hour weeks and not get paid for 2 months. Can you deal with that? Can you work Uber or landscaping or photography or things on the side to help supplement you while you're building your business? Can you deal with clients treating you bad, being super emotional, going up and down this roller coaster, and you staying even keeled while you know that this deal needs to close so that you can pay the light bill for your family? Can you deal with showing a buyer a ton of homes, which most of us agents have fallen to this trap? Yes, I'm going to show you these houses. First of all, you shouldn't be showing anywhere near 20, 30, 40, 50 houses. Of course, there is exceptions to the rule, but when we're new agents, we don't know what we're doing. So we're going all over the place and showing all these houses. And then all of a sudden, their cousin gets their license that they've known since they were 12 years old. And all of a sudden, those 50 showings and maybe that 100-hour time frame went out the door, because now they're going to use their cousin. Can you deal with that emotion of thinking that, okay, I'm putting all this work, I'm going to get paid for this eventually, and then all of a sudden they leave you? Can you deal with your mom or your cousin or your best friend using a different realtor just because they didn't know you were in real estate? There's so much that goes on besides the actual business, which has a ton of emotions and a ton of stress itself. But the other side of it, of people not using you, of buyers going through this roller coaster of thinking the world is falling and you're trying to keep them calm. You're trying to resolve the situation because you want to get them to closing. You want to help them. They told you, I want this house with this many acreage for this much price. But then now they're freaking out about it. So you're trying to calm them down. You're trying to talk them through it. You're trying to get them past this phase of the transaction, because they're getting exactly what they want, but they can't think logically and you do. So there's so much emotion, so much anxiety that is involved in this business. And that's something that I had no idea about. And eventually I got to a point that I have partnered with somebody that can deal a lot more with the customer service and the transaction side of things. So I don't have to be in that position, but that's something I had to deal with for years by myself. For me, it was super stressful and it put a lot on my shoulders because I want to help people, but at the same time, people are irrational and emotional, and it is my job to be the counselor. It is my job to be the fire putter outer. So can you deal with all that type of stuff? Because that's something that you're going to have to deal with in this business, and something people have no idea about before they get their license. The fifth thing is taxes. Now, everybody knows about taxes. Everybody knows you need to pay taxes. But what you don't know is that if you're working a 9 to 5, taxes are taken out of your check. But when you're a real estate agent, you're going to be a 1099 or a contractor. So you're going to get paid the full amount, and then it's up to you to put money aside. Some people either put way too little, 5-10%. Some people put money as a savings and end up spending it kind of like me, I was in IRS trouble for a little bit. That's been resolved, and something that I never knew that I needed to account for or put money aside. But anyways, you need to put 20 to 30% for your taxes so that you don't get in trouble with the IRS. You can do quarterly payments. If you don't do quarterly payments and you want to just keep the money on the side, you will get a penalty, which is anywhere from $500 to $1,500 depending on how much taxes you owe. So taxes are a big thing. It's something that's annoying. We all have to deal with it. But depending on your state, you might have to put 20%, you might have to put 30%. That depends on how many kids or how many expenses you can deduct. There's so many things that go into this realm of things. Talk to a CPA, ask them their advice. I put about 20 to 30% on a account on the side, and that's what I use to pay my taxes. But just make sure you're on top of your taxes. Don't get into IRS trouble and have to deal with all those issues on top of your business and everything that's going on there. The sixth thing is that your car doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Now, when you're a new real estate agent, we are pretending to be something that we're not, right? We're trying to be professionals in an area that we really don't have a lot of experience. We are trying to present ourselves and build our brand as if, we've made it. We can help you buy or sell a house. We want to present ourselves professionally and present ourselves like we know what we're doing. And a lot of the times we pretend to be that with what we show others. So we either try to dress super fancy, we try to have a super nice car, and that's something that gets a lot of people in trouble. A lot of people go out and get a car loan or get a really nice car when they've had 0 transactions. And that's going to get you in trouble because when that car bill comes due, whether it's $500, $1,000, $1,200, which is crazy, guess what? You haven't made any money and now you have this car bill. Your car is not going to make you not have a transaction. It's not going to make you any less of a professional or any less of an expert in your field. Now, if you have a car that the paint is chipping off, you have no AC and it's in the summer and you're showing up all sweaty, okay, we need a new car. But you don't need a $50,000 car, a $100,000 car. You can get a $10,000 car. The first transaction I ever had, I sold a $700,000 house cash. And in my market at the time, the average price point was $225,000. So it was almost a luxury house. I was driving a 2015 Honda Odyssey. It was about 5 years old at the time. I got into real estate 2021, so 6 years old. And I drove around my clients in my van. They didn't care about it, right? Because I knew what I was talking about. When they had questions, if I didn't know, hey, I don't know that, let me research it. I got back to them. I didn't BS, I didn't make up things. I knew what I knew and I would get the answers of the things I didn't know. I was upfront, I was professional, and I helped guide them throughout the transaction. And that matters way more than your car. If you show up in a super nice Audi or BMW, but then you're a dum-dum the rest of the transactions, guess what? Maybe at first they're like, oh, wow, that's a nice car. But then when you start speaking and things coming out of your mouth, very quickly they're going to be like, you know what? We don't want to use this person. They're going to reach out to somebody else. So I would highly, highly suggest that you don't go into car debt. Maybe get a $10,000 loan or borrow some money or just use some savings to get a Camry or a Honda Accord or a Honda Pilot, something very practical that is going to last you a lot because you are going to drive a ton. You're going to have a ton of car maintenance and oil changes and all these things, but the car that you think you need is not going to make you any better. The seventh thing is that you don't need to spend a lot of money to get started. You don't need to spend money on billboards and all these signs and business cards. I didn't have business cards until I was 3 years in, because here's the thing is when I would speak about real estate and they're like, hey, do you have a business card? I'd be like, oh, I don't have any on me, but what's your number? I'll text you right now. I would get their contact information and I text them my contact card and I have their information. Whereas you give them a business card, you get nothing from them. They can easily just throw it away. And even today with business cards, I don't take them anywhere unless I go to a convention or that type of stuff. But I'm still doing the same thing. I don't have any business cards on me. What's your number? I'll just text you real quick. And now something that I do, just a little pro tip, what I do is when I meet people and I kind of go, oh, I don't have anything. But you know what? Let's take a selfie. I learned this in a convention. I take a selfie with them and I text them the photo of me and them. And hey, my name is Junior. Great to meet you. So that if I ever need to go back to it, I know what they look like. I'm really bad with names, but I can see a picture of them. They can see a picture of me and it reminds them of when we met. It's a great way to network with people. So you don't need to have billboards or have ads or pay for leads or all these crazy things that a lot of agents do. You can do those things if you want to, absolutely. It might help you get started a little bit faster. It might help you lead generate a little bit better, but you don't need a ton of money. Don't let yourself think, oh, I need to save, $5,000 to $10,000 or $50,000 to get started in real estate to pay for all this marketing and all these lead flow. You don't need that. You can just start with what you have. The eighth thing that people need to know when becoming a real estate agent is don't be a jerk. If you are in this to grow your name, to grow your brand, you're going to be in this 5, 10, 20 years from now, the top 10% all know each other. The top 5% all know each other and we see each other often. So when we're listing a house and we get calls from agents or we have buyers and we want to show them a property, we always see who the listing agent is. And there are agents out there, not us, but there are agents out there that will not show houses from certain agents. And they will tell their clients, hey, this house is listed by this agent. These are all the issues we've had in the past. I will not show you their house. It's up to you if you want to use somebody else. And guess what? A lot of the times their clients will be like, cool, we don't have to see that house. We'll take your word for it. Let's go see something else. And that listing agent lost out on potential buyers. So be kind. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a pushover. That doesn't mean you don't fight for what your buyers or your sellers want. But you can still be kind and you can still fight for who you're representing, but at the same time not be a jerk. You can still work well with others because once you start doing a lot of transactions and you get somebody that maybe they're firm or maybe they're good for their agents, but they're kind and they work well and they help you put out fires, it's absolutely awesome. And if we have a seller and we get 3 offers and all 3 offers are basically the same, but we know one agent that we worked with in the past. They're nice, they get stuff done, and they work hard in the transaction. We'll tell our sellers, hey, these are all the options. I'm just letting you know we've worked with this agent in the past and we know that they're going to do their best to close the deal. Up to you, seller, whatever you want to do. And more often than not, they're going to go with that agent. So know that your reputation carries a lot of weight and also just be a good human. Let's help each other out. Let's make this industry a lot better to work in. There's so many people in this industry that are jerks or don't want to pick up their phone or like, why are you bothering me? There's no need for that. Let's all help each other out. Yes, we're fighting for our clients, but at the same time, let's make this industry better to work. And the 9th thing that agents wish they knew before becoming a real estate agent is that the brokerage that you join does and does not matter as much as you think it does. Now, the thing that does not matter is that there's a lot of brokerages that don't really offer a ton for agents. But what they do tell the agents is that, hey, we have a really big brand. So when you're out in the market or you're on a listing presentation, you can tell them you're part of XYZ brokerage and that's going to help you get the listing. Or you have this brand on your nameplates right here. Or when you have signs, this brand is going to be on your sign and it's going to make you a local expert because this brand is super big and it's very important. So make sure you join us so that you can get this local reputation with this big brand. In my opinion, that brand maybe helps 2% of the time, but I have never, out of 175 transactions over the last 4-ish years, I have never not been used because of my brokerage, and I have never had somebody use me just because of my brokerage. Buyers and sellers really don't care. And if you built your brand good enough and your reputation good enough, you're going to get referred to them by their friend. And their friend is not going to be like, dude, they're with this brokerage. You should definitely use them. No, they're not going to say that. They're going to be like, dude, this person fought for us. This person got us extra, $5,000 in closing. This person was a great communicator. This person was always there when we needed something. You should definitely use them. The brokerage doesn't matter. So if you're going to speak to brokers, which you should speak to a lot of different brokers to see which one is the best fit for you. If they're trying to just push you, hey, we have our brand. You should use our brand. Join us because of our brand. That's nonsense. That's not going to do much for you. So don't fall into that trap, because I talk to new agents or agents out there because, we recruit people to our brokerage and they're like, well, I really want to be part of this brand because their brand is established in this community. But they're not doing any deals. They're doing 1 to 2 deals a year. Whereas you have agents like us that do 50 plus deals and a ton of other agents that we know that are not part of this brand, right? They're part of brokerages that are small or local pop and shop brokerages. So that local brokerage brand it's not a big deal. Don't fall into that trap. Now, where it does matter what type of brokerage that you're part of is, first and foremost, you need to be part of a brokerage that has the culture that you want. Some are more cutthroat, some are more cold calling, some are more inviting, some are more cloud-based, like the brokerage that I'm a part of, Real Broker. Some are more local, where they have an office that you can go to and print things off. But being part of a culture that you are proud of, that you want to be associated with, is important. Another thing is the broker and the broker team at that brokerage. Not all brokers are the same. Some brokers will pick up the phone, hey, that's not the law, you can't do that, hang up. Some brokers will be like, hey, that's not the law, but let's strategize what you can do. Let's see how we can still go about this the correct way, but be a little bit more creative. Some won't even pick up the phone because they're in meetings all day, or they're on vacation, or they're actually producing. So they're out there in the field basically being your competition, but yet still have to pick up your phone, right? So there's so many different types of broker. Make sure that the broker and the broker team is there to help you out. Call them. Ask them questions. What about the situation? What can you help me here? What can you help me there? What advice can you give me? It's not just about the contract question, but it's also helping you strategize to get better. It's also like, hey, I kind of saw that you wrote this. That wasn't the correct thing. Maybe we should switch it to this. It's a broker team that needs to help you because they essentially work for you. You're paying broker fees and they are working for you. So make sure you're getting a team that has your back. Now, another thing is the splits and compensation. At Real Broker, our splits are very low, $12,000. Plus we have no monthly fee, which is great, especially when you're new, because when you're new, you spend a ton of money, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 just to get your license. You don't want to have another $100, $150 every single month when you're not producing. So being part of a brokerage that the splits and fees are very low is absolutely amazing. We also have a 85-15 split. Now, something that I will mention is that once you start producing, make sure you're somewhere that you get compensated for it. In my opinion, cloud-based brokerages are the way of the future. They're much better than a brick and mortar brokerage for the fact that we get compensated for doing our job. At Real Brokerage, I can make up to $24,000 in stock every single year by just doing my job. With the amount of volume that we produce, we close anywhere from 50 to 70 homes a year. We can hit the status of elite status with Real Broker, and I can make up to $24,000 a year in stock. Yes, if that's over 3 years, but if I do that every single year, eventually I'm just going to be getting paid $24,000 in stock. Whereas if I was with just a local brick and mortar brokerage, they'd give me a trophy, throw a little party and say, congratulations, put a picture on the wall, which that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But I also want to get compensated. I get all those things. I get the little trophy, I get the email, and I can post online, hey, I did this. But guess what? I still get actual money. I get $24,000 in stock that, yes, vests over 3 years, but then I can sell it and cash it out, or I can just keep it and let it grow. And that's another thing. Cloud-based brokerages have ways for you to grow your business and grow retirement and grow outside of real estate. So if you're looking to join a different brokerage, or you have considered Real in the past, a cloud-based brokerage, reach out to me. We'd love to chat with you and show you all the benefits of why Real should be included in a list of brokers that you should join. So whether you're new or seasoned and you want to talk about Real Broker and see if all the splits and the transaction fees and all these different things work out for you, reach out to me. We'd love to chat with you. But wherever you choose to go, make sure it's a brokerage that works for you and not just says that they do. Everybody's going to promise you the moon and the stars, but make sure that they follow up with it. Call other agents that are part of that brokerage. Hey, when you join, what did they promise you? Did they actually follow through? How is it there? How is the training? How is the systems they use? How do you get paid? Some brokerages, you don't get paid, the 1st and the 15th because that's when they run their checks. Other brokerages like Real Broker, you literally get paid within a couple hours of depositing your check via picture after the closing table. There's so many different type of brokerages, so make sure the one that you pick works best for you and the lifestyle that you're trying to build. Well, that's today's video, guys. I hope I was able to give you some insight and some information on what real estate agents wish they knew before becoming real estate agents. And you guys have any questions, you can schedule a one-on-one call with me or just reach out to me on social media. We'll love to answer any questions and see if Real Broker is the brokerage for you. With that being said, until next time, take care and God bless.